not 200 meters north of Highway 18 on Range Road 133 west of the second meridian. Estevan's about 45 km east. It is early on the Sunday evening of May 29th, 2016, and we're at Hammer, about 4 km south of Bromhead, Saskatchewan. One of the first schools in the district was located at Hammer, as was the post office that John Gulbranson opened on December the 1st, 1905, likely in the parlor of his farmhouse, homestead house. He resigned on the 1st of February 1911, and the office remained vacant until E.K. Baird became the postmaster on April the 1st, 1912. On July the 1st of that year, the Hammer post office was renamed the Bromhead post office and was presumably moved onto the town site. Standing on Saskatchewan Avenue and looking eastward,
50-some people that are involved in the church, and they all come every Sunday too. That's not bad for a little town.
on Argyle Street at the southern end of town. And coming to look northwards towards Saskatchewan Avenue and the rink up there. The old elementary school closed since the early 50s, I would guess. Most kids go to the big composite school at Onger, 8K to the west. Just judging from the color, Minneapolis Moline, perhaps an old McCormick. Range Road 133 makes a little kink to align itself perpendicular to the railway right-of-way and become Inverary Street, Main Street, here crossing Saskatchewan Avenue. Used to be a livery barn on the corner right there. At right angles to the rail line, Canadian Pacific laid out the town site in 1913, and soon there was a 3-story hotel and a dance hall. There was the livery barn, a blacksmith shop, general merchants, tailor, cafe, implement dealers.
Yeah, he sold Case equipment at the last. Before that, he'd sold John Deere.
This might have been Forrester's garage in the 50s and 60s. Later on, there was only one little grocery store.
Didn't have much, but I mean, he'd buy bread and milk, I guess.
Yeah.
Guy lived there, and that's how he made his living.
And Tergan runs livery barn. In the evening of August the 30th, 1916, the big fire started. Wiped out most of the business district of Bromhead. This building may have been spared, but it may also have been built in the aftermath. Perhaps Mingle's garage. What's that? A 58 poncho. Looking back across the town site, there was a second fire. The population in the early 20s was 160 people. There's the back of the arena there. There was 2 churches, a Lutheran and a Presbyterian church, Saskatchewan Provincial Police Detachment, Olson's rooming house, Dr. James Brown maintained an office. Looking eastward. I believe this is the former Saskatchewan Wheat Pool 622, built in 1927. The Imperial Elevator and Lumber Company, built in 1913. In 1914, both the International Elevator Company and Lake of the Woods Milling built. All four were standing in the mid-1950s. I don't know which one survives at the end of the line down there. The station was built right in here in 1913. It was a standard Western Line Station A2 at mile 32 from Estevan on both the Neptune branch and the Bromhead subdivision. It was sold off in 1970, and a similar structure can be seen in a field just south of Tribune, about 6 miles from here. The 41 miles of this branch from Estevan out to Tribune has been run by Long Creek Railway since 2012. They took it over. They use it to store petroleum tank cars, but 90% of their business comes from the movement of grain. The Lake Alma uplands off to the west there. The station stood right down at the end of Argyle Street there.
This was elementary, that was the high school. It got moved, been moved twice. Auctioneer bought the building and moved it down by Ultram.
And the Hamar Lutheran Church, with which we are acquainted, on the corner of Argyle and Avenue with no name. I don't know whether it was built there or moved in, nor any dates at all. Eastward, at the intersection there on the upper left quadrant, stood another church.
That was moved in from down south in the hills, Catholic church. So the Catholics, they went through a big effort to bring that all the way from way down there in. They were pulling it with 9 tractors. And they come in there and they spotted it over here and had a foundation made and everything, set it on there. Nothing ever happened. They put a little front end, they built a little front end on the front, and that was it. There was never a church service in it. Now they ended up tearing it down.
It stood right here to the right, visible in a 1956 aerial photograph of Bromhead, half finished. Bromhead incorporated itself as a village on January 3rd, 1914, and that corporation was dissolved on December the 31st, 1965. It's now a ward of the RM of Souris Valley number 7. The nose count of 2018 was 14. The portable on the left there has been brought in since 2016. The bank building used to stand under the tree to the left there. The Bank of British North America opened a branch on November the 30th, 1914. The BBNA eventually merged with the Bank of Montreal. Shops on the corner here. And we'll fly across to where the station used to be. The CPR drove the steel on what they initially called the Neptune branch past the Bromhead town site in 1913. Estevan to Neptune. After some realignment and abandonment, this became the Bromhead subdivision in 1960. Notice anything missing? The hotel stood on the corner under the tree there, and the pool room was for sale in 1970. Beside it, on that side of the street, was likely Bromhead Training and Sarguin and Simpson Merchants. Rogers Lumber was in the neighborhood. There was implement dealers, blacksmith, livery stables. In the 50s, there was about a score of occupied houses. Where did the rink go?
The elementaries are still at Alder, up to grade 8. The high school kids all go to Weyburn. Close to 40 miles from Alder, I suppose, straight north.
There's the rink, gone, and the pool elevator, lost to the winds who ripped across Saskatchewan on January 14th, 2021.
160 miles an hour, they said. The elevator blew the top off it.
And overlooking the southern end of the Trossachs Plains, a gift of the Cree and Assiniboia people via the Treaty 4 of 1874. In the black of night of October the 3rd, 1922, persons still unknown dynamited the vault of the Bank of Montreal. An irritated citizen encouraged them to be elsewhere. A few loads shows 12 gauge.
No, there's a guy living right over in that trailer there. And there's another guy in that trailer on Main Street. And another guy lives up here.
In Bromhead, Saskatchewan.